In 2022, I made a price target for Tesla of $260 per share. And here's the thing, guys, I didn't have the intention for it to be at the last day of December or at the end of 2023 for it to be 260. My price targets are any time during the year. It could be in the middle, end, beginning, whatever. My price target for 260 for 2023 could have been any time of the year. And surprisingly for Tesla, it hit 260 so many times this year, which is absolutely a sheesh moment. But anywho, 2023 is coming to an end and 260 seemed to be the right spot for the stock. What's going to happen in 2024? Now, I've already made a video about that. Well, my price target is 350 by 2024, but I'm going to go through details every single quarter to see how I got this number. And again, it could happen in the middle of the year, end of the year, it could hit 350, then drop down to 100. It does not matter. As long as it hits 350, whether it's for an hour, a day, 2 days, 1 month, whatever, how long, I hit my target. That's all that matters. So let's get down to it. Smash that like button if you haven't already and hit subscribe. Let's go. So here's a stock price prediction chart on a quarterly basis, very detailed. And I'm not gonna go through every single cell here because this video is probably gonna be an hour long and I know y'all don't have an hour for these types of videos. So let's go through them. And if you guys are a Patreon member, then you guys already know what this chart and how this chart works. Anywho, everything is self-explanatory as you guys can see here. We got the vehicle deliveries, the average selling prices, leasing, services, all these operating margin, energy, all that good stuff. I don't have FSD here, nor do I have any other things, superchargers or whatever that. It's just vehicles and energy. I'm going based on these. Anything else is just gonna be a plus. So in Q4, I said 500,000 vehicles, which would be over 1.8 million vehicles in all of 2023. Now, most of you guys are saying 480. I'm saying 500. I don't care what anybody says. I don't care. 500 is what I'm sticking with, even though it's probably going to be wrong. 500, that's what I'm going to say, all right? That would mean an operating margin of 7.5, meaning that it hasn't bottomed yet. Tesla stock has not bottomed yet. If they do 7.5% operating margins, even though income from operations and the gap and the non-gap is more than Q3, operating margin has now bottomed, and that's not good for Wall Street. The stock could go even lower. Here I put 97 PE, but that's because of my price target of 260 this year. Most likely it's probably going to get down to 80 or maybe even 85. 75, around 201. If they do 480,000 vehicles, we're below the 200s. And if this happens, I'm just gonna buy more, and y'all gonna see why I'm gonna buy more, because 2024 is gonna be a recovery year for Tesla, and you'll see in just a second. So let's go back to the 500 because I do believe that. Let's start with Q1 of 2024. Now, if you guys notice here, the average selling prices for quarter over quarter is going up. Most likely in Q1, that's not going to happen. But I'm an optimistic guy. I do think that we are going to see rates drop maybe sometime in end of Q2, beginning of Q3. That's when we'll probably see Tesla increase prices or keep prices the same, but their margins grow because COGS per each vehicle keep going down. But nonetheless, keeping this simple, the number one rule when it comes to predicting, guys, and projecting is you're never going to be right? Even though 260 was right, I'm still not right because we're not there just yet. But the thing with prediction, guys, no one's right and nobody will ever be right because markets are unpredictable based on black swans and so many other things, so many things. The stock market is very fragile. So anything could influence the stock to go up or influence to go down, especially with Tesla stock. So really, take all this with a grain of salt and do your DD, but I think this is a realistic scenario for Tesla in 2024, and the reason why price increases, average selling price is going up, mainly because of the Cybertruck. So anywho, let's keep going down. You guys will see the full year of 2024 in this chart here after we put all the delivery numbers in and the stock prices. So let's get down to it. In Q1 of 2024, I'm predicting 510,000. So if they do 480,000 or 500,000 in Q4 of 2023, they should at least do 500 or 510,000 in Q1 of 2024. And right off the bat, bam, look at all that numbers. I flippin' love it. Total GAAP gross margins of 18.2%, which is really good. Margins at 7.7%. So this will be the bottoming quarter if Q4 isn't. And that's going to be really good for the stock, and a good sign that Tesla from now on, from Q1 and onwards, margins are going to go higher, which is really flipping good. We got total revenue for this quarter almost reaching 28 billion, net income GAAP of 2.3 billion, non-GAAP of 2.9 billion, GAAP of 81 cents, non-GAAP. GAAP diluted is 68 cents. Still better than Q4 of 2023. However, though, fiscal year of EPS continues to go down, which is not good, but we are seeing signals that this may turn in Q2 or Q3. Q2. I'm expecting Q2 Tesla to deliver 550,000 vehicles. And again, with the price increases because of the Cybertruck, and of course, rates may be going down there as well. And bam, look at that. Total GAAP gross profit of 18.4%, operating margin in the 8%. First time ever for Q2. In 2024, over $30 billion in revenue, and we got net income of 2.7 billion and non-GAAP of 3.2 billion almost, and we have a EPS of 89 cents. EPS GAAP on a fiscal year is going lower and lower to 262. Now, this is where I think things are going to get really interesting in Q4 and Q3. In Q3, I do believe they're going to deliver 585,000. Now, this may be little compared to what they could actually deliver once interest rates do go down. But I do have a limit for how much vehicles they're going to deliver in total of 2024. Now, I may be sandbagging it or being bearish about it, but I like to stay conservative. 585,000 vehicle deliveries. We get 18.8% in total GAAP gross margins. I mean, growing nicely compared to Q2 and Q1 of 2024. We get a revenue of over $32 billion, 8.6% operating margin. That's really good. If we can see this, if we can see this jump between Q2 and Q3, that is amazing. Profits of 2.9 and non-GAAP of 3.4. We get an EPS non-GAAP of 97 cents. And 84 cents in the GAAP diluted. And look at this, 292. So we're going from 262 to 292 in the fiscal year of EPS, which is really good. This is a really good sign. And this is when I think Tesla's gonna start to, in their stock prices to go higher and higher. We'll get to that in just a second. Q4, end of the year, 625,000. Insane? Maybe not, right? This is going to be absolutely insane. That comes down to 18.9% in total GAAP gross margins, almost $35 billion in revenue, 9% in operating margin, and GAAP of 3.2 billion, net income and non-GAAP of that is 3.7 billion, $1.05 in non-GAAP EPS. That is an EPS 92 cents in diluted GAAP. And look at this. $3.20. And if you guys look, and this is for GAAP diluted, not non-GAAP, that GAAP diluted EPS, which we will go based on for the stock price, because that's what it's based on in real life, not non-GAAP. Non-GAAP is what Wall Street looks for, but in reality, EPS and not an EPS GAAP diluted is what we go forward with to figure out the stock price. And if we look at here, the non-GAAP in 2023, it was $3.20. We're getting that for the diluted, which is really good. And for the fiscal GAAP diluted is $2.68. We're getting $3.20 here, which is really good. That's a really good recovery year for Tesla. Now, what does this mean for the stock price? I don't know if you guys are ready to see the stock prices quarter over quarter. It's nothing fancy, but Q3 and Q4, that's going to be the biggest, changer. So smash that like button so we can see it, man. Come on. Is it smashed? Let's go. So in Q1 of 2024, we have 81 cents and an EPS fiscal year going down from 268 to 263. We have a PE in Q4, which is around 75. Let's put 80 just to be a little bit more, happy about it, a little bit optimistic about it, I guess. And besides, 214 bucks is still a bargain in my opinion. I will buy more. If it goes to 200, I will buy more without any hesitation. Anywho, in Q1 of 2024, of course, the EPS is lower, but I do think the PE is going to be higher. Why? Because we've bottomed in the operating margin and we are going higher and higher in all aspects. Delivery is higher, average selling price is higher, total gap gross margins is higher, operating margin is higher. Everything seems to be higher and is pointing to a good year in 2024, even though it's a recovery year in 2024. A PE of 95 here would give us a stock price of 250. Maybe that's a little bit too aggressive. Maybe a 90 would make sense. I do think Wall Street or investors are willing to pay more of a premium for it in sometime in Q1 of 2024, giving it a stock price of 237. In Q2, we do have the fiscal EPS going lower than Q1. So even if we give it the same 90 PE, we still get a lower stock price. And don't forget, Tesla is diluting their shares every single quarter as well. They're not doing any buybacks. So that's not going to help. So I do expect them to be flatlined for 2 quarters. Maybe if there's good external news, like, macro environment's getting better and interest rates is getting cut, maybe they can go up to 100 PE to around 262. This is possible, but let's put that in between to a 95 PE. And again, if we go to a recession and everything takes a dive again, a 90 PE in Q2, let's say, because that's when they're expecting it, that would mean, I would say maybe around a 70 PE, maybe a 50 PE at worst, right? At worst, which I don't think that's going to happen. That's why I'm going to say 95 PE at a stock price around 249 would make sense in sometime in Q2 of 2024. In Q3 of 2024, that's when things change, because look at the jump in EPS in fiscal year and look at the operating margin of 8.6%. So that's going to be insane. A 90 PE at that time would be around 263, could go low as 85. But again, if Tesla is showing these numbers and they're growing exponentially, I would say 100 PE definitely would make sense sometime in Q3. Heck, I would even say as high as 110 to around 321. Investors are willing to pay a premium for things like this, especially when interest rates get cut, when the stock looks cheap before it gets expensive in a different environment where interest rates do go lower every single quarter and every single year from then on. So really 110 PE for Tesla. Right now, Tesla stock should be trading around the 150 or 175 PE. There's just so many things that doesn't include in the stock, like FSD, and majority of the energy part is still not. Some of it is, but not all of it, like supercharging and all that kind of stuff is still not in it. We have, the robot taxis and licensing, which no one knows how to value properly. And on this channel, we try to value it, especially with FSD. I think I've almost nailed how FSD is supposed to be calculated. But nonetheless, it's all a prediction, all a projection. But again, this is all not even adding the FSD sales or version 12 or even beta in China, because that's gonna change a lot of things. So that's why I say 110 does make sense. There's a lot of good things coming for Tesla. I'm just gonna drop it down to 100 just to be conservative, I guess. And in Q4, my price target again, end of Q4, which is the end year of 2024. Again, I would say the stock price would be around 350. And to hit 350, we will need a PE of 110. Yeah, 110, right on. 350 bucks per share and a market cap just below 1.2 trillion. Now, would this happen? I don't know, but if we are seeing a massive jump from Q3 to Q4, especially with their PE and their fiscal PE and their margins are 9%, and they're just growing quarter after quarter, regardless of whatever the situation is. I would say, in my personal opinion, Tesla should be trading around the 125 PE by end of Q4. Even as high as 150 if you want to add the FSD stuff and the bot and all that kind of stuff, around 500 bucks per share. But 350, I think that is a proper number or proper valuation to give Tesla by end of 2024, which is exactly a year from now, right? So let's hope that's going to be the case. Comment down below, what is your price target for 2024? Is it 300, 400? Some of you guys are saying low as 10 bucks. Come on, man. Shame on you. You know better than that, right? So 350, I think is fair. 2025 is when the year things will explode for Tesla, and 2026 will go even more further when the compact car finally comes and makes an impact. But that's for 2025, 2026. This is 2024. The full year numbers for 2024, I have full deliveries just below 2.3 million. Average selling price just below 45,000, up from 43.8. So that's really good. Credits down from 1.8 to 1.75. Services over 11,000. Profits of that as well. Leasing is still not gaining strength because interest rates are still high. I do expect this number to go crazy in 2025 and 2026 when rates do go lower. Vehicle gross profits on the average, and again guys, this is all the averages, right? The percentages are the averages and the numbers here are the total. Vehicle gross profits on the average was 17.4%, just 0.4% more from 2023. 0.3% higher compared to 2023 in total GAAP gross margins. Energy is, I think I am sandbagging energy here, around 8.5 in revenue, but the profits up by 80%, which is, I think that's exactly what's going to happen in my opinion. Operating cost is higher because of the Cybertruck and because they're doing compact cars and so many other things. Taxes around $1 billion. Other income 1.8. It is going less and less every single year because rates will continue to go down, and instead of keeping it in a bond or a high interest savings account or whatever it is, they can pull it out and do something with it, get more in cash, probably maybe do a buyback. Maybe, I don't think they'll do a buyback in 2024 though. Operating margin is less on the average compared to 2023 to 8.4%, even though we are on the incline. And that's the important part, guys, right? If we're seeing a uptrend, that's all that matters. We don't like to see downtrends, and Wall Street hates seeing downtrends. We like to see an uptrend, and that's where a lot of projections, it's like the greed, when everyone's greedy, don't be greedy. Wall Street is like that. Oh, this year went up, next year is going to go up, and it's going to go up until it doesn't go up, then it goes back down. It's very weird how they do their numbers and stuff like that. Stock-based compensation about 1.8 billion. This may increase to 2 billion, so we'll see how that goes. No, I forgot to add the non-GAAP, which is the gap, which is very important here, of $11.3 billion. So not really achieving 2022 levels yet, but the non-GAAP is over $13 billion. Nonetheless, we get an EPS of $3.20, which is really good for Tesla. This is a jumping ground for Tesla in 2025. 2025 is going to be a sheesh year for Tesla. It's going to be an amazing year for flipping Tesla. We end off the year with $125 billion. Oh, and there is the total net income gap of $11.3 billion. Important part is it's on a trajectory going up. That is it. So there you guys have it. $350 per share is my price target by 2024. For Tesla stock to go higher to the 500, 600s, to have a nice fundamental base, two things need to happen. One, we have to see higher profits and higher margins. Two, we have to see full self-driving come into effect. If we can see full self-driving starting to make an impact, and the Tesla team comes out and says, hey guys, yeah, our FSD is coming in and it's going to take a lot of margin and a lot of revenue and a lot of our profits in next year, whatever, expect the NVIDIA moment to happen. The stock could double within just a year. And the thing with Tesla stock, it stays flat for 3-4 years and then pops, and then 3-4 years and then pops. So we've been flat since 2021 till 2023. I think 2024 is going to be the last year where it stays flat. Now again, what's flat? Flat is in between the highs and lows. The low was $100 per share, while the high was around $410 per share. So if it trades anything between these numbers, it's considered flat. Anything that breaks over 410 or whatever the all-time high was, then we are no longer in the flat anymore and we're going up, and vice versa. Same thing when we go below 100, right? So anything outside of these two things, it's considered flat. And I do think 2024 is going to be a flat year for Tesla. It's great for me. I'll just keep buying more shares until 2025, 2026, 2027. When it pops, then it pops, man. So that is my price target of Tesla in 2024 of 350. What is your price target of Tesla stock in 2024? Comment down below. I'm very curious to know. And you know what, guys? It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what the stock price is going to be this quarter and this year or next year. What matters is what the stock price will be in 2030 and a little bit beyond that. And if you guys want to know what the stock price would be, check out this video. It's absolutely insane. Obviously, it's just a prediction alone. So do your DD and take it with a grain of salt. Guys, get your shirt. Or I bought the damn t-shirt here. Use 10% off if you use the discount code GFY. You get 10% off. Subscribe, and I shall see you guys in the next video. See ya.